Hello friends, architects, designers, people concerned with aesthetic and beauty and our environment. I'm so happy to be with you, although on video. But I'm happy because I haven't been in your country for a while, as you haven't been somewhere else possibly also. And so it's great to get together again. That's really a cadeau for all of us. I'm here in my kitchen, which is part of a beautiful house on the countryside on the Atlantic Ocean. This is my refuge. This is my the place where I reconnect with nature. This is the place where I come to my senses. This is the place I need to be with lots of friends and celebrate. This is a great part of my life and became bigger recently because of the pandemic, when I spent a longer period here, which was fantastic because I discovered nature more intimately and I actually had time to do a lot of study, and so my work, I think, has become more important even through this. The kitchen, I think, for all of us, as you know, has become so important in our lives. Sort of an enormous jump from the little kitchens we had in the 50s and 60s to now the vast space we have for our entertainment and for our feeding purposes. I love cooking, so more and more the kitchen takes place in my life, and I love all the materials related to the kitchen, of course. The metal, the porcelain, the stone, the marble, the wood, and even some textile. I even have a little curtain in my kitchen. So the big question, of course, for everybody is what will happen to the center of the house, our kitchen. And it's not easy to forecast because recently the kitchen has made such an enormous jump, has become so important, so emotional. People have been sacrificing big rooms to make their kitchen, that I don't think that the kitchen can get any bigger. I mean, that would be surprising. The only thing I'm sure of is that we will work less in the kitchen because we will work more from home. So definitely people will create working spaces. Already now there's new housing where working space is integrated. So this means that we are liberating the kitchen from being also our office. The kitchen therefore will become the canteen of our home office. So the kitchen will become more about food and cooking and hospitality, and a bit less functional maybe therefore, so we can have even more liberty in the creation of the kitchen. We can bring in a couch, we can bring in some lazy chairs. Some people are speculating about even wanting to sort of sleep in the kitchen because it's so cozy. So I believe it's becoming more like farmer kitchens in the old days, which would encompass all of these things. So the kitchen will have new materials, but also we will continue, of course, wood and metal and marble and stone. But the newest material is really porcelain, which is an innovation because it is even more strong, it's even more heat resistant, it's even more able to take all sorts of guises. So it can be metal, it can be marble, it can be rough stone, it can have all these different lives. And it's also through its materialization somehow refined, so you can do shelving, you can do cupboards, you can do walls, so it's very versatile as well. Of course, always all the horizontal surfaces as well, first of all. My guess is that this material will not just stay in the kitchen. You see, I think this material will go into furniture and maybe into other rooms, like water type rooms soon, because it has such an enormous potential. For the designers and the architects, it's so important because it can be sort of used in all these new guises. So it's sky is the limit in a way. It can be like a sky if you want it. So this material, this new material is really high-tech. It's high-tech porcelain because of its functionality and the way it's made. And it's therefore also a hybrid because it is very, very high-tech, but it doesn't look high-tech. It can look completely warm and even cuddling and rustic. So this is what makes it such a sort of wonderful new matter. Now we are in my summer office, and I want to tell you a little bit how we work together, because that's what you ask yourself, I guess. We first start always with forecasting, because that is the core of my knowledge and my business, and what I do, and it helps me to do everything else, whether it's design or curating or education. Always at the beginning is this forecasting. So we will have forecasting books, forecasting presentations, and we will show this and share this together with almost everybody in the team. And this is then also a big discussion, of course, about what is the most important, what is really confirmed for their development and so on. So at one point, after working several years, we felt the urge to propose to make a book together with the marketing department, because the food became so important to the world as a tendency. The kitchen became so dominant that we felt it was very nice to make a book which was called Form Follows Food. And this was essential because this is the moment when we really started to introduce very strongly the concrete kitchens. What I really love about this client of mine, of us, of our team, Caesarstone, we work together already for a decade, which is wonderful. We have very often long-time clients, which I like because you become family, is that we are actually working like a family with their design team and their marketing teams, not just in Israel, but also in the world. So we have a very close connection, and I think this is all because it has been a kibbutz. It's still a kibbutz in its organizational form. So it's a truly democratic society where people also vote together for new colors, or for a new vein, or for a new texture. So it's very cute because everybody has to defend his point of view from the Australian market, and the American market, and so on. Of course, American market is a little bit more functional, loves white. Australian market is very much more avant-garde, was the first to embrace concrete, obviously. And so it's very nice to see how that sort of comes to agreements with a bit of in-house fighting, but very gentle fighting. And it's very beautiful to see this, because in most companies, decisions are taken by a center person and they listen hardly to other opinions. So it's very rewarding for us to work with a company which has the right human-centered organization. That is very vital for us. Obviously, nature is becoming more and more vital to our survival, as is our soil. And every day we find more evidence that this is our survival mechanism. And this is why we need to be careful about the products which are from the earth, how we give them back to the earth, and how we can honor the earth and respect the earth in this process. Therefore, recycling using matter which is already used, which is done in the porcelain trade, can be a very good idea. And we need to continue to find ways to somehow produce better for planet, people, and the environment. We are all, I think, working on it so much, and we're finding new principles every day. But one of the most important principles, which many people forget, is the idea about a very strong visionary design, which is functional, which is beautiful, which is made to last. So I think the modernism of materials like porcelain are interesting because it helps architects and designers to envision kitchens and other surfaces which will have a very, very long lifespan. So this already means that we are moving into a modernist philosophy of a great design having a great, great influence on our lives, as well through our aesthetics. One of my major forecasts of the last 20 years, I would say, is the revival of gardening. And now, after our pandemic, this has become even more true, and especially the idea of gardening your own food, which has become super popular. Also in cities, also on balconies, everywhere. So to go from food to your own table, it's very interesting now to work outside, to clean outside, to cook outside. And this is where outside kitchens are becoming so popular. Outside kitchens are getting roomier, there's more space, there's more ways of cooking as well. It's not just barbecue. Barbecue is only part of this. And this brings us actually to outdoor living. So, it's like you can just, sleep outside, maybe have a cabana, maybe have a beautiful glass house, maybe have a beautiful folly, cook in the folly crazy food or crazy drinks, have fun. So I think that the whole outdoors, which is a whole new category of products for Caesar stone in quartz and porcelain, is going to be super popular and needed, because we will almost bring the life from the inside to the outside. And they say the garden is the new room, the new salon, the new kitchen. So yeah, let's just be prepared to do a lot of design in that direction. Well, to speak about the trends of the future in today's environment is not easy, as you can understand. There's so many things going on. There's so many havoc and chaos and so many things we don't know that it's my profession is getting really dire, but I'm trying. And so what I do know is that because of what we have gone through and what we are still going through, the pandemic and everything else, we will have an enormous change in society. I mean, radical change. It's pretty interesting also, because what's happening is that everything is disrupted. In the beginning, everybody thought we go back to business as usual. Not at all. Actually, we are in a new area. We are in a new world. We are in the post-pandemic world where we have learned how to live differently, and that has a lasting effect. So the most important part of this trend is the great migration. Massive amounts of people have left the urban centers and the cities to go to smaller cities and to rural areas. Massive. Sometimes as a second house, but often also as the house guarding pied-à-terre in the city. So we are sort of inversing roles between urban and rural. And what happens therefore is that we are finding a hybrid between urban and rural. And suddenly design, fashion as well as design, are a bit of both. And they meet in the middle, and it's a beautiful new domain where there is countrified ideas, but that are so well managed and made that it's also very sophisticated. So it's really the meeting of these two worlds, city and country, in one idea. It's a delight to look at. It's going to modify many, many, many things we do. And for the materials, of course, that means that the materials are more rustic. and more tactile. And this is why I'm so super happy with the rustic, rough finish of the porcelain of Caesar stone, because I think this is a very strong direction where it's still sophisticated, but it's also rustic. And that is a major new design direction. So I hope you will have a great moment of design and creation, that you are able to make beautiful, beautiful objects for your clients and customers. I have a friend, she's publishing a book next year about the neurological impact of beauty on our well-being. It's proven. So beauty now is necessary. So hey, that's very hopeful for us, because not only are we going to make beautiful things, we are going to help people be and become. So that's a new calling of creativity.